Hi, welcome to my first speed build. I'm doing the work around the boxes challenge here, which was originally by kiwisimming, and she's done 3 versions of this. This is the first version, and you can find the template on the gallery if you look up kiwisimming. I had a lot of fun doing this. I was originally going to do an apartment for a single mum and her child, but I also had the idea that I wanted to turn that middle room into a little studio, and I couldn't find a way to fit in 2 bedrooms and the little studio, so I decided against it. But I think I might go back and do this challenge again and maybe try and make it into a single parent and child apartment, or just make one of those kinds of apartments. I think this challenge is really good because if you struggle with floor plans like I do, it kind of gives you some limitations, so you're not just working with these big empty spaces. You'll see here that I play around a lot with different ways of doing things. I saw a lot of people put in the middle room as a bathroom, but I wanted to use it as something else because I was thinking if I bought a flat, I wouldn't really want my bathroom to be in the middle. Although I do like how other people made it work, I just wanted to come up with something else, so I wasn't just copying everyone else. I mainly went with like yellow colour schemes, and then I ended up adding like green, a bit of green furniture, which are colours I've not really used before, but I wanted to make it quite vibrant and colourful because I study art in uni, and a lot of the people I know are quite like that. Like they have bright coloured hair and everything. And I did actually go and make a sim for this apartment later on, which will be uploaded soon. And she's also kind of matches the apartment, so that's quite a fun touch. I did play around with like rugs for ages because I couldn't find one to cover that body mark, which I didn't realise was there till I put the floor down, so good job I put the floor down first. I also go in at the very end and add loads of plants because I love plants, but also I thought I needed more to go on. Oh, this one I start adding the green in because I used a lot of Parenthood, I think, and also El Salvador. I just can't say that pack name. I don't know why. I always forget how to say it. I was originally going to put green shelves in. Oh, it's not. It's Jungle Adventure. Had mind blank, but yeah, I was originally going to use green counters, but I thought it was a bit too much, and I actually really wanted to use the green fridge and oven that came with Jungle Adventure, so that's mainly where I used the Jungle Adventure pack. I think that whole kitchen might be Jungle Adventure. And yeah, as I said, there's a lot of Parenthood. And I went in and added quite a lot of brick walls because I like the idea that there'd be a lot of exposed walls, and that she's kind of making do with like what she's got, kind of on a budget. Starving artist, but not for long. Maybe she's going in, just starting out her career. I made the walls green. I was originally going to make them yellow, but it was just a bit too much. Didn't really like it that much. It's just too much going on. And green walls are not something I've ever used, but I actually really like them in this build. So who knows if I'll ever use them again, but I do like them in this one. Yeah, and I just kind of fiddled around a lot. One thing you'll notice is that I don't build like one room at a time, which is what most people seem to do, but I'm really bad at doing that because I get bored or I can't figure out what I want to do with a room, so I'll just kind of run around the house just doing different rooms at a time and kind of just working on it all simultaneously. I went in and put loads of different art pieces. There was some really cool drawings. I think they were life drawings that I didn't know were in the game. That, yeah, you can see me adding them now. And I'd never used them before and never seen them before. I'm thinking about putting this build in my save because I'm making a save. I've been wanting to make one since I had Sims 3. I wanted to make my own world, but I never got around to doing it because it was quite hard in Sims 3 and it was just too much freedom, I think. Like, there was no limitations whatsoever. So I'm doing it now, I think, and I've been working on it. I want to do 2 versions, like a custom content version and a no custom content version, so it's accessible to everyone. Because personally, I play in custom content, like houses and with custom content Sims, but I know not everyone does, especially with the furniture, because I know it makes your computer lag a lot. My laptop that I have at the moment, but I don't use it for Sims anymore, just cannot handle like a lot of custom content. I still have a lot, and I always had a lot, but it would lag a lot, and that was really frustrating sometimes. Like, I'd have to pause the game, and it'd make my laptop overheat whenever I'd play The Sims, so I'd have to, like, balance it on stuff to stop it getting too hot if I was in bed. Yeah, you can see I just kind of work my way around the entire apartment and go backwards and forwards. I couldn't work out how much yellow was too much yellow. That's why you can see me just like trying out different colour walls and things. So I was like, am I sure these green work? But I do like the green. But I couldn't justify putting the yellow in. It was just a lot. It's just a bit too much. I quite like the mix and matchy kind of feel to the apartment. Like, she went and got like second-hand furniture and kind of put it all together. And just like found bits and bobs around. And that's why there's like different chairs and not everything looks like it's perfectly neat. I really liked putting all the plants in as well, but I did end up moving those succulent, and I'm not sure if I've got footage of it. There's a few things that I don't have footage of that I went in and did after. Like, I realised I forgot to paint one tile of the wall once I uploaded it to the gallery, so had to go back in and sort that. So there's like a fixed version and a normal version, which has 10 downloads, so that's a bit worrying. And I yeah, and so I went in and I added a lot of plants around, added a lot of pictures. As you can see from my thing, I've got a lot of custom content in my game, which I think makes it hard to kind of see what I've been putting in, so I'm sorry about that. But this build has no custom content in it, which was really hard for me because I don't think I've played like Sims at all without custom content since The Sims 1 was out, which when I first started playing because my cousin gave me it. But yeah, I've been trying to, I think it's interesting to change up your play styles, so now I'm trying to do builds and things without custom content a bit more and see how they come out, and it's kind of more of a challenge because I don't have access to just everything and anything that I want to use, which I did before. As you can see here, I try and move the dining table around, and I do actually come up with a layout I quite like, but then I decided I wanted to put in the washing machine and tumble dryer, so I do end up making that a little nook for it. And I do move the fairy lights. Another thing I went in and did is where I moved the fairy lights to, I went and put in, it was a stand with canvases in it, so I went in and put them in front of it, but I don't think you'll see that in the video because I think I forgot to film it. I went in and did it after. I also put in a toilet roll holder because I forgot to do that too. But they're all in the screenshots, I think, so you'll be able to see it at the very end. I really struggled with picking a bed. That's the one I end up going with. But that's the one thing I really miss about not using custom content, is being able to have the separate mattresses and beds, because it's kind of like having Sims 3. I mean, not as good because you had creator style, but you know, you get a bit more variety, whereas I feel like you're quite limited, and none of the wood swatches match, and it drives me insane. I didn't put many curtains in because I quite liked having the big open wide windows, and then I didn't really want to put any in on the other window because I just thought it'd look better to have that whole like living room be quite nice and open and airy. I'm not sure airy is the right word, but light. I just go in and kind of put a load of clutter on those shelves, which I love to do. I love putting clutter on shelves. Oh, this is where I go in and put the washing machine and tumble dryer in. And I was trying to pick colours, and I was going to go for like the green or the yellow, but I decided probably not the best idea because it might end up looking a bit too much. I really like that mirror. I think it's really nice. I'm not sure I use it that much. I usually end up using like the ones that just go against the wall. They're up against the wall permanently kind of thing. I did actually put in pet bowls here and a litter tray because I thought she'd maybe have like a cat. I did originally think a dog, but I think she might be a cat person. I mean, up to you if you want to move someone in here, but I didn't actually make a pet with her when I did the creator sim of her because I'm quite terrible at Oh, you do see me put that in. I didn't realise that. Yeah, I'm quite terrible at create a pet. They just all look the same, so I I didn't think it was worth filming again because I've already got one creator sim going up this week where you can see me make a cat, so I didn't want to do another one where it's just a lone sim and a cat. So I just did a lone sim. Oh yeah, I changed the furniture on that shelf. I really like that whole having like a bench behind the sofa. I thought it looked quite nice. Oh, I love that red shelf as well. I've never used it before. I've used OMSPs before, but I've never used that one, and it's so handy. So I was constantly having stuff floating in my other builds. If you follow my Tumblr, which will be linked down below, you can see where I've made some builds and I've put in loads of clutter, but certain stuff is like floating slightly above the shelf because I couldn't get it to go close enough, and I couldn't like raise it down because it cut off way too much. So that was always inconvenient, and that shelf is a saviour basically. Like this, when I go in and clutter the kitchen up, I fiddle around with the spice rack for ages because I don't know, I'm just a bit of a perfectionist on certain things, so just went in and kept trying and trying and trying. But yeah, I thought maybe she has a little hobby of like doing some cooking occasionally, so she's got some cookbooks. I just hope it does justice to kind of like the arty idea, like the whole apartment. I was just trying to think of like what people at my uni's flats would be like, or what my flat's like, and I think yeah, this is kind of similar to what I'd expect. And I think one of the best things about it is like most people want their own studio at my uni. We do have studio spaces, but they're like shared, so there's about 10 of us in a room, and they're really lovely rooms. They've got massive windows, but you don't get very much space because there's so many of you. You get a decent amount, but once you start working on a larger scale, it's really hard to like make more room. For instance, I'm working on 2 big pieces that are 160 centimeters by maybe like 120, and so I have zero space in my area. I'm just like sat on the floor doing one, and then there's another one that I've had to prop up onto a chair because it doesn't even fit on an easel. I never put candles in enough in my builds. I always forget they exist, so I was happy when I used those ones. That's one thing I really miss about being at uni, is that I don't have any candles here because I'm not allowed them in my accommodation in case I burn it down or something. But I'm going home in about 3 weeks, I think it is, so I'm excited for that because I've got all these candles to use up, and bath bombs because I don't have a bath at uni. I have just a shower, so I really miss having baths because I never shower at home because we don't have a shower. So having to shower here rather than have a bath is just really bizarre to me. I'm not used to it at all. I have an issue with this bookshelf because when I was taking screenshots I realised it like slightly cuts off into the window, but there's not really very much I can do about that, and there was not very much that I could fit into that space, so I guess we're just gonna have to deal with it, but it's annoying. I really wish there was more picture frames, but there's not really, so I've got a nice little picture of an apple. I went in and added some lights. I always forget to do this because I always put the saucer lights down because they provide really good lighting. I ended up just adding a load of those like round ones. I don't know why, I just thought at my house at home most of our lights have either lampshades or they're spotlights, and I don't think they seemed like a very spotlighty flat, so that's why I added those lights. I think it added a nice like ambience to it as well. As you can see me going in, I was getting really irritated because I couldn't get the succulent wall decoration to go above the fireplace where I wanted it to go, so that was annoying. I do realise now that it's like off centre, and that would kind of annoy me, I think, but I actually don't mind it because of where the TV is. It's like, oh, look at both. But I like this idea that she's got all her art hung up around the apartment, and that she like tries out a bunch of different styles. Anyway, so that's the build wrapping up, and I'll see you on Wednesday? What's today? It's Tuesday. See you on Thursday. Bye.